Right. 1 April 2022, and it's such a pleasure to be waking up in Harare and shooting this day's newspaper roundup. Today I'm going to be looking at the daily news. I'm also going to be looking at H Metro, and I'm going to be looking at the Herald. So these are the three newspapers that I'm going to be looking at. And today we've got some very, very important stories in these newspapers. So let's start with the daily news. So the daily news has got a very important story on MDCT President Douglas Nonzora. He's facing a vote of no confidence, according to this newspaper. You must remember that today is April Fool's Day. So some of the stories that are in the newspaper, they are sort of like made to fool you. But according to this newspaper here, vote of no confidence is likely to be recalled or to be dismissed. And the dismissal is coming from Komichi and obviously Muzuri faction. So I'm going to talk more about this, but I see that the MDCT is probably not going to survive. It's most likely that the MDCT is not going to survive. They are going to probably end up going back into Chamisa's party, the CCC. That is what I'm seeing here. If Monzora is successfully recalled, if this story is true, then this is going to be the situation here. Then Zimpact frets over increasing elephant population. There's too much elephants in Zimbabwe. As I told you, when we were in Kariba, we actually had to stop while the elephants passed. Then there is an advert here. There is a vacancy, by-election to fill vacancy in the Senate for the senator to represent people with disabilities. That is going to be held on Saturday, 14 May 2022, commencing at 10 a.m. at Rainbow Towers, Jacaranda Rooms. So I think these are the most important stories in this newspaper, the Daily News. This is the most expensive newspaper in Zimbabwe. It's going for $2. And then when it comes to the sports section, ZIFA endorses Zimbabwe suspension from soccer. So Zimbabwe is being suspended from all soccer activities after the government dismissed the guys where the Sports and Recreation Commission suspended Felton Kamambo board. So that is of no confidence is going to be issued on him today by the party. Then I want to go to this newspaper here, H Metro. It's leading with the same story on Kamambo and FIFA. And then the most important story in this newspaper is Joe nabbed for stealing office of the president vehicle. So two guys, Lamek Piri and Last Chinamasa, they went to President Mnangagwa's office and they stole his minibus, and they stripped the vehicle of the majority of the parts which they sold. So they are facing 3 counts, including other counts, but this one they stole the office of the president car. Very, very brave guys. I don't know what going to the president's office to steal. And then the second story here, most important story, is Enjoy Ginimbi's inheritance, family told. So this is a court case in which Nelia Anderson and Juliet Kadungure went to the court. They were dragged to court by the lawyer Darango, who appealed against an earlier judgment which said that Ginimbi did not have a will. So the court here says High Court has granted the late genius Ginimbi Kadungure's family leave to enjoy the inheritance, pending a Supreme Court appeal. Darangwa appealed against the decision of the Supreme Court, which rendered the family's recent victory worthless. The family, through sisters Juliet and Nelia and Father Anderson Kadungure, had approached the High Court seeking permission to operationalize the order that nullified the contagious Ginimbi will. So this judge found that Ginimbi died without a will. So Nelia, Anderson, and Juliet can now enjoy the inheritance of Kadungure. But as I told you, today is Fool's Day. So some of the stories that are in these newspapers, I don't know if they're true or not. It's confusing to me. So this is what it says. And this is H Metro, $1. This is probably, if you are interested in entertainment news, you go to H Metro. So now let's go to the last newspaper, the Herald. The Newsday was not available. So I only have 3 newspapers today. And this newspaper is the most comprehensive newspaper. If you want to buy a newspaper in Zimbabwe and they've got $1, this is the newspaper that you buy, the Herald. I spent $4 today on newspapers, and the guy who sells newspaper was saying to me, people don't have money at all to buy newspapers because of the issue of change that I was telling you. Newspapers are not being bought. People don't have $1. They've got a lot of money, but they cannot buy newspapers. So the biggest story here is yesterday, President Mnangagwa, he hosted the young women for ED. And this was the most biggest event here in Harare. If you look at the pictures here, you can see that the whole venue was full. And I was around here, I saw a lot of young women, including Lorraine Guyo, who were here in Harare. They were busy with this function. President Mnangagwa doing very, very well, getting a lot of support among young women and getting a lot of support among the youth. This is going to be significant in 2023, the approach that President Mnangagwa is taking. So let's read what the newspaper is saying here. President Mnangagwa yesterday gave young women the carte blanche to seize vast opportunities that have been brought by the Second Republic, as he promised to give them loans and open doors for participating in any sector of the economy. So this is amazing. This is a big event. Please go online and see what President Mnangagwa said during that address. Then on a sad note, right across from where I'm staying here, there is a new mall which has got a very beautiful little takeaway shops, Chicken Inn, Pizza Inn, and so forth. So there was an armed robbery there yesterday, and 2 people were killed, 2 robbers were killed. So the newspaper said a suspected armed robber was shot and killed, while 2 others were seriously injured during a shootout with the police at a service station near Exhibition Park, formerly Harare Agricultural Showgrounds, in the capital on Wednesday night. Police arrested 2 other suspect robbers that disappeared into the night. All the suspects are from Bulawayo, while 1 is South African. Some of the suspects are believed to be members of the security services. So this is the armed robbery. Apologies, 1 was killed, 2 were injured, 2 were arrested, and 2 disappeared into the night. And there are soldiers or police among these people. So this happened right here. As I told you, there is amazing buying going on. The retail sector is booming. If you go to Chicken Inn, there's always a queue. So last night I was actually there by this little garage where there was a robbery. There's a little more there, and these guys came and robbed, and there was a shootout with police. So police are very, very alert. But the story here is, the big story in Harare is so much spending happening. Cash. Everything that is being bought here is cash. People have bought a lot of cash, and this is causing all these robberies. Then let's go to the inside of the newspaper. There are 2 stories relating to CCC. The first one is Joanna Mamombe and Chimbiri attempt to block exhibits. So Joanna Mamombe and Cecilia Chimbiri, they will end up in a lot of trouble, according to what I'm seeing. They are trying to block the cell phone footage or timeline or from the base stations to show where they were during the time they say they were abducted. You can see that story on page 2. And then Tendai BT lost his application here Tendai Biti's bid to delay trial in his assault case has hit a brick wall after his application for postponement was dismissed. So Tendai Biti is going to have to face the law because he beat up some woman. Let's see what's the name of the woman here. So I think it's way deep in there, but obviously you remember that court case where Tendai Biti beat up one of the women and she reported him to the police. So that is the court case. Russian investor. They didn't put the name here, but I obviously know that if you go to gambako.com, you see details of that story. Then Muchangwa engages Norwegian envoy. So Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Monica Muchangwa spoke to Norwegian ambassador Astrid Amelie Hele at her offices in Harare yesterday. So this is what happened. And then I want to quickly jump. They have that story of Chinamasa and Piri who stole from the president's office, the car of the president's office. And then there's a lot in this newspaper. This is the biggest newspaper. Bethan converts ex-footballer to gospel. That is in entertainment. Timothy is now working with Bethan Pasinawako Ngolombi. And then in sport, there's that story of FIFA suspending Zimbabwe. This newspaper is $1. It's 260 in Zimbabwe dollars. But I see that they've removed the $1.15, which is a great move. I don't know why someone would price the newspaper at $1.15. So this is a good move. Now they've got a sport insert here. Right, the sport insert says Zim Paper's revenue jumps. And then POSBIPO plans on course. Then production at Lubu core project in Wange has commenced. So there's an amazing new project in Wange. CFI turnover jumps 153% on good rains. This is a good story. Zimbabwe is experiencing massive economic growth. If I can say, if you're in the diaspora and you're watching, I want you to understand what I'm talking about here. The economy of Zimbabwe is growing in a way that you cannot describe. I'm used to looking at economics, at activity, at production, at consumption. The highest activity in this economy is consumption. There is a lot of consumption in retail. A lot of people, especially in the food industry, there's a lot of consumption. Transport. You can't find transport anywhere. The demand is extremely high. It's not that there are no cars. You know those mshika-shikas. They're there everywhere, but they're failing to satisfy the demand. If you go to areas like Kariba, where I was, guys are standing on the side of the road waiting for transport. The opportunity in the transport industry is massive. Then if you look at construction, it's amazing. Everywhere you look, there is a new construction project taking place by individuals, by private companies. And the quality of construction is not the quality that you're used to. Guys here are constructing beautiful buildings. Government construction. If you look right here in Harare, the CID head office is stunning. I was there yesterday when we were doing some police clearance. The building that they have there, the police general headquarters, they've built a new building. It's amazing. The way they are doing things here is totally different from the past. And then when you look at individuals, they are building little malls everywhere, offices that are beautiful. So the consumption in this economy, very, very high. Then when you look at production is mining, in agriculture. Everywhere you go, there is a bumper harvest. So it's an interesting economy. And if you're outside the country, keep that in mind. When you come here, you might find out that you're the one without money. Then there's this insert here. This is a big insert. I think it's about 10 pages. This insert is to do with the press statement on the upcoming National Mobile Registration Exercise by the Civil Registry Department. So as you know, there's a shortage of IDs. So what the Zimbabwe government has decided to do, in fact, let me look at the dates. What they've decided to do is that they've decided to register everyone for birth certificates, death certificate, national identity documents. And these are going to be done. So the debt, if you look at this, it shows you where they are going to be and the location of the place, the debts, and it shows you all around the country. So it's all around the country. This is the inset. So it's a good job that the department, the civil registry department, is doing. Great job that these guys are doing. So as I said, today is April Fool's Day. So please forgive me if some of these stories are meant to fool people, but I try to pick the stories that really make sense. But the big takeaway that I am gonna leave you with is that this economy is doing very, very well. People are spending. People are out there. No one is sitting at their home worrying and waiting for a job. People are working. And this is the amazing story about Zimbabwe. I hope that I'll be able to do this again next time when I'm back in Harare. Tomorrow I'll probably won't be able to do the normal daily newspaper updates that I do, obviously, because I will be in other places. I'll be traveling to other places. But it's been amazing. I hope that I'll be able to come back. Information to me needs to flow. Zimbabwe information is not flowing in terms of what is exactly happening on the ground. And I hope that when our media companies operating from Zimbabwe, we'll be able to bring you value in terms of news. I want people to know exactly what is happening. So I'll be back probably over the weekend. We'll start with our analysis. We want to start looking at dialogue. What is it that Nelson Chamisa wants from dialogue with President Mnangagwa? Chamisa is probably going to end up being the main opposition party. I see the MDCT of Douglas Monzora probably imploding within the next few months. And then we have one opposition party. People like Komichi, people like Mzuri, I see them moving back and following Dr. Kube to Chamisa, because already you can see from the indications that most of the supporters of the moved to Chamisa. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in terms of that dialogue, because without dialogue, nothing's going to happen in Zimbabwe. Chamisa cannot win this election. I can guarantee you. The economy, the way it is functioning, is such that the economy is no longer a factor. In fact, the sanctions are more of a factor against Chamisa, because people are now going to say President Mnangagwa managed to fix this economy with sanctions. What if there was no sanctions? So the big problem that we have that needs to be addressed, the sanctions, they need dialogue. All those things that Chamisa wants, they will need dialogue. President Mnangagwa has got all the chips right now, and I really want to see what happens with the dialogue called by Chamisa. So I want to go and dig deeper into that. And also, let's see what happens today. Is Monzora going to be recalled? Is Monzora going to be dismissed? Is there going to be a vote of no confidence in the MDCT? And what will be the resolution of the National Council? Thank you very much. And I really appreciate you watching and following Gambakwe Media. I was all over the country, and everyone is following Gambakwe Media. Everywhere we went, people are appreciative of what we do. And I really appreciate all of you. Thank you very much, and good morning. Enjoy your day.
Kuno, abo, pano, mamu.